So here's the question. I think you make a fair point that if you criticize the Gandhis, and that has certainly been my experience as well, they don't talk to you again. And while it's simplistic to talk about it in terms of just denying access, part of what a reporter does is based on getting that access, so it really does impede your work. But is it different qualitatively from what you're sensing today? Because in your case, the cost has been personal. Your son wrote a cover for Time magazine where he called the Prime Minister, before the 2019 elections, divider-in-chief. Maybe about 2 months later, Atish Taseer found that his overseas Indian card had been scrapped because he had failed to disclose that he was the son of a Pakistani. And the funny thing is, I remember Atish saying to me after that story, I'd interviewed him, and he said, Barkha, I'm going to lose my OCI card. And I said, you're being paranoid. Come on, they're not going to do that. They can't be so stupid. That's actually what I said, because I don't understand how it actually helps the government in any way to do this. So having experienced the kind of autocracy of Sonia Gandhi, and then what's happened with Atish, is there any qualitative difference in what you're seeing in India today?
They are more thin-skinned.
The BJP?
Yeah. They're definitely, I mean, you've seen that there's this...
I should say Modi's BJP, because I don't remember Vajpayee's BJP being like that.
No, Vajpayee was very, very liberal about it. You could criticize Vajpayee to his face. And he was very happy to have that kind of criticism. No, I think that Modi is very thin-skinned, and I think Amit Shah is even more thin-skinned. There's an MP who they've stopped today. They stopped her at the airport and deported her. A British MP who they've sent back because they're worried about Kashmir. So I think they're more thin-skinned, but the machinery they're using to control the media was put in place by earlier prime ministers.
So I'm going to get to the book, but towards the end of the book, you do talk about what happened with your son. This charge that basically the government followed the rules and you or he failed to tell the authorities that he was Pakistani, and it's a sort of Lutyens' entitlement to believe that you can break the rules and get away with it. This isn't me talking, this is the BJP talking.
Nobody broke the rules. When I applied, Atish has lived here since he was 2, and he had these multiple entry visas in his passport which proved that he's been here all his life. He didn't meet his father till he was 22. They had a brief engagement and then a huge estrangement because he wrote Stranger to History, in which he makes it absolutely clear who his father is. And when I actually applied for that first, because they said to me, apply for a PIO, you don't need a multiple entry thing. So I actually mentioned Salman Taseer in that form. Then when Salman Taseer died, saving the kind of women they want to come to India, he
under the CAA.
Yeah, under the CAA, he died actually saving a Christian woman who was sentenced to death for blasphemy. And by the time that the PIO became an OCI, they'd brought in this Pakistani thing. And Atish said to me, what should I say his nationality was? And I said, he had a British passport when I knew him. He wasn't, a big political figure then. And I said, say he was British. He was born in India, undivided India. His mother is English. And he lived in England because he had this British passport. And so there was no, concealment of facts, other than the fact that Atish has made it clear who his father was. His name is Atish Taseer.
So you believe the government was being petty, vindictive, and getting back for the Time magazine article?
Yeah, of course, I think there's no question about it.
So here's Tavleen Singh, a cheerleader for Narendra Modi in 2014, finding that not one person in the BJP is even willing
to talk to me.
To talk to you.
Yeah.
Do you have any understanding at that moment about what happens to people the BJP doesn't like or who haven't
Are you speaking of yourself?
them? Oh, I could. We have to reverse roles to have that conversation. But honestly, at that point, do you say, more fool me?
No, because, somebody asked me a question about how, somebody asked me actually in another interview, whether I had bad judgment, that I was always on the wrong side of the government. And I said, no, you've really paid me a compliment.
Yes.
That means I'm a good journalist.
Yes, I agree.
Because the relationship between government and us
should be adversarial.
Adversarial. And any journalist who seeks to become a Rajya Sabha MP or a minister should resign his credentials, give back his press card. Otherwise, you're breaking that fundamental line.
I agree with you on that, but you were a supporter. You were an admirer
Openly, yeah.
openly in your writings.
Yeah.
And this is how they treated criticism, not even from you, but from your son.
Yeah, I don't know what the problem was with him.
When you dialed the BJP people you knew,
Yeah,
those of them who did take your calls, I know Swapan Das Gupta and Ashok Malik did.
yeah.
What did they say?
Chopin was just kind of sheepish. He has that kind of sheepish look when he doesn't know what to do. And Ashok Malik, tried to say, let's try and get him a visa. Because actually at the moment he's not even able to get a visa to come here. But I think it was an act of really petty vindictiveness, which I don't think would have happened if Arun Jaitley had been alive. So I actually believe
That would presuppose that Arun Jaitley was more powerful than Amit Shah. I don't think
Oh,
that's
I
correct.
think he was. I think that Arun Jaitley had a relationship of friendship with Modi, whereas with Amit Shah, Amit Shah works under him. Arun Jaitley was an equal. And I think that Modi, that the nice face of the government that we saw in Modi 1.0 was because of that.
So here's where I want to push you. If you read the book, and even if I listen to you now, it's like you want to believe that the bad guys, in quotes, are someone else. It's not Modi. Maybe Modi doesn't really know what Shah is getting up to.
Does that come out in the book?
It kind of, you clearly want to not like Amit Shah more than you want to not like the Prime
I
Minister.
want Modi to be the Messiah.
That's the point. So
And I can see that
aren't you still making excuses?
No, Amit Shah can never be a Messiah. I mean, take one look at him. But, in Modi's case, he could be.
But are you making excuses for the most powerful man in this country, not knowing what the second most powerful man in this country is up to? Who's going to believe
I'm
that?
not making excuses, but I think that he's in an echo chamber. I really think that what has happened, what has gone wrong, and what often goes wrong with very powerful political leaders is they surround themselves by people who tell them only what they want to hear. And then it becomes impossible to break through to say, listen, I'm just trying to help you by telling you this. And I think that has happened.
So are you saying that Mr. Modi doesn't know how Mr. Shah is perceived? He's misreading the student protests. He's misreading Shaheen Bagh. He's not reading the media.
I think he is misreading.
So what is he misreading exactly?
I think he's misreading. He's being misinformed because the intelligence agencies don't speak to him. No minister would dare say to himself, please go and talk to these ladies. And I think that Amit Shah is much more of a creature of that kind of rabid Hindutva than Modi is. That's my reading.
And that disassociation of Modi from Shah is not all too convenient.
I'm not doing it, consciously. I'm disappointed that it comes out that way in the book.
No, but I'm asking you now, think about it. Do you see Mr. Modi's politics as separate from that of Mr. Shah?
I do.
Explain to me why and how.
I think that Modi has the potential, as I just said, to actually be the Messiah. What we need is reform, not just in the economy, but in the justice system, in the administrative reform. We need to cut the size of government down. We need private enterprise to flourish, etc. And I think that Modi, if he pulls back from the Hindutva agenda that he's been following, I think he could still do all that. I'm not sure that Amit Shah understands any of those issues.